hello.
Hi, yay, finally works. Okay.
Alright, so the topic of this round is whether Ash, provided that he has the Thunderstone in possession, should he evolve Pikachu against his will?
He should not.
So, I have 2 or 3 points as to why Ash should totally do this. Alright, so the first thing is that there's actually no harm to this action, right? So I can think of 2 possible harms that the opposition would bring up. First, that, Pikachu would no longer be the Pikachu that it once was, and the second issue being, Pikachu doesn't want to evolve, and going against this little animal's free will would be wrong in some way. But the thing is, Pikachu, just like any other Pokemon, character would not change, as we've seen throughout the series. Pokemon evolve, they don't suddenly forget their allegiances to their trainers, etc. And the second thing is that Pikachu's possible desire to remain a Pikachu doesn't matter because the relationship between Pokemon and humans in this world is prioritizes humans, essentially. The goal of the entire universe is to be the very best. And in order for Ash to do that, he actually should get a Raichu.
Alright, so I think Alexa makes some interesting points. So I have one major argument as to why Pikachu should not be forced to evolve against his will. And I think the part about this being against Pikachu's will is actually really significant. So I want to ask a couple questions. The first thing I want to ask is whether we think Pikachu is autonomous. And I think there's a lot of reason to suspect that Pikachu is in fact autonomous. Pikachu is intelligent because he recognizes that Ash is the good guy, and he can distinguish them from Team Rocket, who are the bad guys, who actively want to do harm to Pokemon. So we think that anything that can distinguish good from evil is already pretty much probably operating at a higher plane than animals that are purely sentient. So given that Pikachu is autonomous, that Pikachu can distinguish good from evil, I think that he does have some claim to rights. And I think one of Pikachu's rights claims here is that he shouldn't have his will violated without some overriding cause, and we don't think that there's enough of a compelling reason to do that. We tell you that in society, people's autonomy gets violated all the time, but we think this is generally really bad. This is why we condemn things like murder. This is why we condemn things like robbing. We don't think that people should have to fear getting killed or robbed on a daily basis and have their autonomy violated over and over again. We think people should be able to feel secure in their persons because they have a rights claim to their own autonomy. So given that all of that is true, we think that Pikachu's autonomy shouldn't be violated in exactly the same way. We've demonstrated that he knows good from evil and that he's autonomous, so we think he has a legitimate rights claim.
So the idea that Pikachu is an autonomous creature, the thing is, sometimes we think that animals are actually autonomous as well, that maybe they can discriminate from good and evil, not maybe on the same calculus as human beings, but they certainly don't kill their own young indiscriminately. Yet, the relationship that we've established with animals, the fact that we eat them, we repeatedly eat them, and this has already become acceptable practice, means that we, as humans, consider ourselves actually prioritized over these animals' interests, even though we kill them routinely every day. So insofar as that is true, even if Pikachu does show some signs of sentience, the actual practice of enslaving Pokemon and using them to achieve our goals of being the very best that there ever was is just an actual way of how this universe works. So insofar as so is what Ash has been given with, his the construct that he lives in, then we think it's totally acceptable for him to use Pikachu for his goals. I think...
You have 20 seconds left.
Is it your turn?
No, you have 20 seconds left.
Okay. So, remember that in the first episode, Pikachu is initially forced to travel and battle for Ash. So, he was actually enslaved.